All right, who wants to ask a question first? Go ahead and talk into the mic if that's all right.
For both of you, this game had so many ebbs and flows. To win and be patient, what does that mean to do it this way to start the season off?
Um, any win is a good win, first of all. So even though we didn't like the win that we got today, it was a good team win, good solid win. I'm glad that we came down at crunch time when it mattered, got the stop and the rebound. Kareem did, so that was big for us. So that's all I had to say about the win.
Just piggybacking off what Jimmy said, it was just big time plays made in the crunch time, heat of the moment, and winning the game is not easy versus that type of caliber team, and we're just appreciative to have won this game and won it with our brothers.
Obviously, coach was moving around the lineup a lot early. What were some of the combinations and some of the newcomers you really
I'll say the Twins, to be honest, and I'm sure their impact on the court is obvious. I really like just how their tenacity to just have a knack at going for the basketball, going for the rebound every single time. That's not easy to do after taking multiple forearms and jabs, just trying to fight out there. So that's what I key on them and give them props to.
Yeah, with that lineup with the Twins, well, any lineup with the Twins, actually, I feel like they bring a lot of energy, especially on the defensive end, and they're crashing the boards. So yeah, that's probably the two people that stood out to me in the lineups that we had today.
Nene, you got to the line 11 times today. Can you just speak on how you did that and what you contribute to the success of the free throw line?
Really, just finding out easier ways to score the basketball to help my teammates, man. I tried to really dissect my game as far as on the offensive end to just make plays easier for myself, and I think that's one of the ways that I can impact the game easier. Just try to get to the foul line and shoot calmer and easier shots, which are free throws.
For both of you, I mean, it's been like almost 7 months since you guys played a real game of basketball. What was it like just getting through, getting through this game?
It was exciting. I mean, we were all eager. We've been eager. We've been ready to go. Just super excited to play. We be beating up on each other every day in practice for 2.5+ hours, and we just excited to play somebody else. So we just went out there, look forward to the matchup, look forward to the game and the game plan, and try to execute the plan, which we did.
To both of you as guards, Kareem Rozier didn't have the greatest game on the box score, which was one made field goal, but he was part of the closing lineup and had the key defensive stop. Is seeing the most minutes he's played in Duquesne uniform, what did you guys feel of his game and what he was able to bring to the team?
With the impact that he made today, I feel like he's a great floor general. I know this was the first game of his first sophomore season, so I know the first game jitters, he got it out the way. But I was just proud of him for staying through it and fighting through the whole game, even though he didn't have a great game on the box score. He came with the defensive stop at the end and got the rebound. So that was big for us to seal this game off.
Agreeing with Jimmy, man. Just giving props and really giving Reem his props for his gonads that he carried. My boy, he got heart, and it shows. It shows, and those two plays right there showed that Reem got heart of a freaking lion.
Trey, does it really impact what you guys are able to do defensively when you go to those really big lineups, especially when you have both the dramas on the floor with one of your centers?
Yeah, I feel like that definitely helps us defensively. It's just I feel like it would have been shown more tonight if we would have stayed solid on a couple more defensive plays that we could have played defense through the clock. So other than that, yeah, I feel like those lineups is gonna bring a great defensive presence.
Day-Day, there was a 7.5-minute stretch in the second half where you were the only player on the team to get on the score sheet. First off, do you feel comfortable in those situations where really the offense is producing through you? And then secondly, what can you guys do to sort of balance out the offense for those stretches?
Really, I tend to try and live for those moments. I work on my game very often. I try to work on my craft a lot. And I know that if I work on my game very much and more than many others, that my results will show in a very high manner. So I just try to do that and trust my work ethic and really just balancing it out. I think it was just one of those nights, like I probably just had a decent night or I was just the one who showed up. We have many factors, many other guys on the roster, 1 through 16, 17, that can go get a bucket, go get theirs, or just create for others and myself. So maybe it was just my night, but I was not the only one who was just impactful scoring-wise on this game for this first game.
For both of you, just how pleased were you with how tenacious your posts were, refusing to give up space when they were trapping and just getting you guys those looks because of their fight?
It was a blessing. It's like when you got your bigs who want to play hard, go out there and play for you. It's like we're trying to go and play for them. It makes you just want to go out there, play harder, and produce. It makes you want to make your minutes positive as soon as you go out there. It just gives you that rush. So that's really the biggest thing, just knowing that we all got each other's back.
Yeah, it did seem like you guys didn't take until like the middle of the second quarter or second half to realize that we're not playing against each other. We're playing against another opponent. So, did you feel like that was the turning point of the game, that you finally got your rhythm going by realizing that we got this game because we're not playing against ourselves?
Well, I feel like that was really our mindset for the most part coming into this game. We've been going at each other in practice, so it was good to see a new team to actually play against. So we got a feel for our first game, and I feel like it's gonna be much better.
Thank y'all.
So appreciate y'all.
We're going to have a good team, but we're a work in progress. Like, we don't know who to play, who should be out there. We've never had them in games, so we're just looking around trying to figure it all out as a staff and and then I think they're good. I mean, you could see they've won 20 games, been to the NCAA tournament for 3 years. They're a good team, and we caught them on a good night on top of it. They shot the ball well. So we were fortunate. We had them on the ropes a couple times, and we just didn't quite finish the job. We made a few bad decisions. We gave up threes late, which you can't do. But, we're going to get a lot better. Our effort certainly is good enough. We just have to play better, which I'm sure we will.
Questions for Coach?
Keith, how in your experience, how long does it take to get the right lineup? The entire non-conference schedule usually every year?
I don't know. We've been slowed a little bit because we didn't have Dixon. We didn't have Chabi all summer. We didn't have a 5-man all summer. So I'm not making excuses, but we've been slowed down a little bit. And so that's hurt us a little. And then we're not quite sure yet, who should be in when. Clearly the Drames, for an example, they've started most of their career. Their energy level was terrific and changed the game. So that's the thing I'm most proud of was, neither Drames started and Trey Williams didn't start, and they've started almost every game in their career. So it tells you a lot about them as people and about them caring about winning. So, we're going to have a rotating lineup, and we'll play better. Like, we did a lot of good things. I just felt like we just couldn't quite get over the hump. Like, even in the first half, I felt like we had better shots than they had, and they made more than we made. Like, we had a lot of open looks. I think, we've worked really hard with Jimmy Clark at the point, and his hard work really has paid off with 8 assists and 3 turnovers. That's a big night for him, because he's usually a score-first guy. So that bodes well for us. So I think, like I said, I think, we got a lot of guys, and eventually we'll play better than that. But it didn't surprise me in the least. That's kind of how we played.
Were you expecting to play the Drames as much as you ended up putting them out there in the second half?
Well, we thought Fusini would play a lot, and then we weren't quite sure on Hassan, because he's been nursing a little bit of a knee deal. But the one thing you could say about them is they've been in a lot of games, man. Like, and the second thing you can say is there's nobody that's going to play harder than them. They may not always make the right play, but they're going to play hard, like, and fearless. Like, Fusini bopped that 3 in, and it changed the game. So, just tells you a lot about their character.
This was Kareem's first opportunity as like a lead guard. Can you just speak on his leadership on the court today, since he didn't have the best statistical game, but his effect was definitely felt?
Well, leadership-wise, Kareem's the best I've ever had. I mean, that's quite a statement. His leadership ability is second to none. He's better than he played tonight. He missed open shots. He coughed a couple up. He made a couple bad decisions late. Like, for instance, he gave up the 3 late on a soft switch, which the play before Trey Williams gave up the 3 on a soft switch, which you can't do. And then we had Kareem take the ball out of bounds because we wanted to throw it into either Jimmy or Day Grant, and we're open, and we throw it into Dave Dixon. But Kareem's a good player. He's a winning player. And again, I'm hard on him because for us to be really good, he has to play a little bit better than that, which he will.
You guys went 18-33 from the free throw line tonight. Is it more of a positive factor that you guys are as aggressive and going to get to the line a lot, or is that a potential concern outside of guys like Day when it comes to them getting free throw line?
Well, Day had a bad night at the free throw line too. Like, he was 8 for 11, which for him is a bad night. I mean, I just think it was a little bit jittery. First time out. We didn't play an exhibition. We played 2 scrimmages with no fans. It's funny. I told him, look, from now on, you got 100 before you leave every night. It's the same thing. And the other thing that bothered me is we only had 4 offensive rebounds the first half, but we won the game at the offensive boards. We were terrific in the second half on the offensive boards, which gave us a lot of opportunity to score. We didn't make a lot of first-time shots, which we have to be better than that. But we actually did a really good job of getting extra opportunities on the offensive boards, which they kind of beat us up on the offensive boards the first half.
Speaking of not sure which guys to play, David Dixon was part of the last part of end rotation and saw a lot from him. Was that something you figured would happen, or was that just a spur of the moment, just throw him in there instead of Trey Williams and the others?
We were going to play him. He didn't practice until Saturday, so he's been out about 10 days, because he had his knee drained and then PRP'd. So he's had a lot of trouble with swelling on his knee and hasn't really practiced much at all. But he's an unbelievable talent, man. This guy's a talented, athletic guy. We felt he's a good player. I told our guys, look, we're going to have to ride a different horse every single night. So tonight was Dave. It could be Chabi the next night. It could be Savrasov over Fusini the other night. It could be Jakob. He's coming off a bad ankle too. So we're just going to have to play it by ear, and then they have to be willing to accept that, that's the way it's going to be.
Speaking on that topic, Keith, as you continue to evolve, we were just talking about the first game, is when you're getting depth and you're getting these options, is it going to be feel? Is it going to be game flow? Is it instinctual? What do you and how will tonight maybe help with that?
I think it has to be straight feel and who's playing well. Obviously the 2 guards are going to play. right? Day and Trey Clark are going to play, but then everybody else, pretty much is battling to play. They're all good players, which is it's hard to play like that, really, because if you don't play great, you're not going to play as much. But like I said, they're good enough people. They're good enough people that it didn't really affect them. Kalon's another guy that's a good player. We just didn't get him in tonight. We need to play him. But Jimmy's been kind of moving over to that point spot, which helps us get a little bit bigger at times too. I thought that helped us just rebounding the ball and things like that.
Seemed like towards the end of the game they were really meshing, but at the start of the game it seemed like it felt like a practice, in terms of them just playing against each other instead of an opponent. When you guys were down 3 at the half, what did you tell your guys in the locker room?
I felt we played pretty good offensively. I thought we missed open shots, which is big. I didn't think we guarded the ball very well, which was probably the biggest concern. We didn't rebound the ball very well, but I didn't feel like we played poorly. I just felt like we just things just didn't really go our way. We made mistakes guarding the ball and things like that, but that's all going to get better. I mean, we can get better at that. And then we didn't protect the rim very good in the first half, I didn't think. That's where Dave really helped us. Dave is just so explosive athletically that he knocked a couple back, which now changes the mindset when somebody drives in there. But they got good athletes. Like, look, they're playing Tay Williams at the 3, who's one of the best. He'd be one of the best athletes in our league. Now, I'm not saying he'd be one of the best players in our league, but he's one of the best athletes in our league. And then, the other guy's a pro. I mean, he's probably a Horizon League Player of the Year. And then we caught Louder on a night where, he went nuts. And he's played a lot of basketball over the years. So, he's a guy we looked at out of high school. He's a Michigan kid. So, we didn't do a very good job on their main players, which is a problem. You have to guard the best players. It's not rocket science.
You guys had that, I think it was 7.5 minute stretch in the second half where Day was the only one scoring for you guys. How comfortable are you in those situations where the offense is really producing through Day, and then what can you do to sort of, spread the offense around a little bit better?
I just think it was happenstance. I don't think it was particularly, anything other than that. Just happened that way on that particular game, really. I think, at times it's Jimmy. At times, we're going to score a little bit better inside. We did a pretty good job of throwing out of the post and got some open looks. We just didn't make them. Kareem had open looks. He just didn't make them. If he makes them, it's probably a different game. And then you take the 18 for 33 at the line. That changes the game as well.
Keith, you want to talk about support. The students section was really in full force. How important is that, and how important is that the result to keep that continuity growing?
Well, I think it's one of the most important things that you have. Like, if you don't have a good home court advantage, you lose games at home. Regardless of what people think. When you're not great on a particular night, that fan base can help you win games. So the students really helped us. And for us to really make this a really home court advantage, we have to continue to, keep putting people in the stands. Now, you have to earn that. You have to win in order to get people in the stands. And it has to be fun, which I do think we have good athletes, so at least it's fun to watch. It might not always be pretty, but it's fun to watch.
Any other questions for Coach?
You don't have to cut him off, Jim.
We'll go here.
It's past my bedtime anyway, so it's cool.
Tara, you got a question? You all right? I'm good. Okay. All right.
Thanks for coming. Appreciate it.